Do you think there's a specific connection between the art and the history, the way history is narrated uh, to the generation, to the other people?
Absolutely. This art form of sculptures and carving, that was with the intent of narrating age-old stories and
Yeah.
carrying the history forward centuries ahead. That was probably one of the prime reasons. Ornamentation to temples is fine, but I'm sure these stories are to be carried forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a fantastic talent with us today. I can introduce him in a million different ways. So I thought of rather checking with him that how he wants me to introduce him. And this is what he said, okay. He's an engineer by mistake, a designer by profession, an artist by passion, and an avid and perpetual learner by doing things and traveling different places. He completed his master's in design from IIT Mumbai a couple of decades ago. He started his career in a prestigious design firm, then he started working as a freelancer. Now he is a founder of a design studio called Studio Vitamin D Private Limited. He has been associated with many prestigious design colleges. He has been creating design workshops for them, creating design modules for them. He has been mentoring young designers for over a decade now, probably. He has received many awards and accolades for his contribution in the design field. Let me tell you one thing, that if you at all find this person, you will always find him with a bag on his shoulders. And that bag will contain probably a sketchbook, watercolors, a color palette, brushes, paint brushes, and different types of pencils. I didn't even know that so many different kinds of pencils even exist. So if you happen to walk along with him on a particular day, don't get surprised if he suddenly stops somewhere, pulls out things from his bag, and starts sketching or painting. But if you see what he is doing by looking at his sketchbook, you will realize that the whole magic is getting unfolded. The whole universe is kind of getting created right in front of your eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely thrilled and honored to have Mr. Ashwin Chikerur on my show, The Perspective. So Ashwin, as I said, welcome on my show. I am extremely thrilled to have you. I cannot actually wait to start with my questions. So first of all, I just wanted to ask you that how did you start with this journey? Because when I read your introduction, in my introduction also I said that you said that you are an engineer by mistake, you are an artist by passion. So how did it all happen? Did you always know that you will grow as an artist? So what was your journey?
Firstly, I'm very happy to be on this show. And Yeah, engineering by mistake. Just a quick story is back in 90s. I always I always used to draw. I've been drawing for last 30-35
Yeah.
years. Uh, Back in 90s, IT as a field was upcoming and booming,
Yeah.
with all the dot-com boom.
Yeah.
And most of the friends took up jobs. Most of the friends took up IT, software, all those kind of fields.
Right.
Somehow, I was naive. I was a bit childish. I must say. I did not give it enough thought what exactly I wanted. Though the answer lies within you always. If you
Yeah.
you just need to listen to it.
Yeah.
I somehow did not. I went with the flow. I went where friends took admissions. I just happened to go in that direction.
Right.
So my dad was one who always said, "Why are you taking engineering? You should go for architecture, something on the creative side." Uh, but I did not. I was somehow influenced. I was somehow uh, stuck and adamant that okay, everything is happening in that direction, engineering direction. So I took it up. And yes, reality hit hard when I started the course. That it's not my cup of tea. I never enjoyed. All the 4 years were absolute waste for me. Uh, but great opportunity to keep doing my artwork. Sometimes, when you are pulled away from something, that's when you realize the importance of it. And that's how I would term that it was a mistake because I learned nothing. I did nothing, and I never pursued as a career. By final year, I decided that I have to switch on the creative side. I kind of took a small break after engineering. I did not apply anywhere, no jobs, though they were booming. I knew if I got caught in the rut of money and earning and going outside and all that, I might just
it would
continue.
be difficult for you to get out.
Yeah, it would be even more difficult
Yeah.
than this. So, and gladly I had good support from home that okay, you do whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
no push. So I gave NID exam, I gave IDC exam, I got through IDC,
Right.
and yeah, I think that was a big change. I saw what creative world could be. I was suddenly like a kid in a toyland. What to pick up, what to do, and so many things to explore. Fantastic
Right.
things to explore. So it was great for me. Great shift.
Yeah.
Exactly the way I had dreamt, and it gave me opportunities to do whatever I wished.
So there are usually two aspects to why you do something that you do. One is a professional aspect, one is a very material aspect that you are doing something for your living.
Right.
There is another aspect where you are doing something because it is something which you want to do. I can see there is a flavor of something which you want to pursue, which you want to do in the artwork which I have seen. So how do you balance this act? I mean, it is tough usually to kind of be on a track where you have to do something for a living and still you are pursuing something which you really want to do from your heart. So how do you balance this act?
People often say that it's so amazing to see you have your passion as your profession, and you kind of you're doing what you love since your childhood. So many school friends who meet me after decades and say, "Oh, you're still doing the same thing, and you're still doing great." It's very nice to hear that. At the same time, personally, it's always a tightrope.
Yeah.
And it's difficult at times, but it's quite satisfying, I must say. There have been a number of times when I felt, is it the right thing? Am I confusing my passion and profession? Am I mixing them up? And I used to fight those thoughts a lot. Beyond the point, I've started kind of adapting to it, embracing it a bit, because it did give me a lot of benefit. It did give me all the material benefits that I wished or that I kind of aim to have, and it gave me a lot of satisfaction. There have been tough times, I must say, that balancing act is a very tricky one, because oftentimes the things that you really love can be different than things you are good at. And people told me this. We read, we listen to people, and which is true. At the same time, you also see people who are excelling in what they love.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. To whom do you look at? You can look at either. Nothing is wrong, nothing is right either. It's what you choose to do.
Wow.
I chose to kind of continue that. At times, you can say I'm a bit confused man as well, but I think I embrace that. I kind of enjoy it nowadays.
Right.
So as a profession, like I mentioned, IDC helped me explore the creative side. Art is my passion. Sketching, urban sketching, traveling and sketching, that's my passion. That's something that I do for purely for myself, no one else. I want to capture those experiences. I want to capture my experiences, my memories, in a different way than just taking a picture of it or capturing it on a phone.
Right.
I like to capture that in my sketchbook, maybe.
Do you think there's a specific connection between the art and the history, the way history is narrated to the generation, to the other people?
Absolutely. I mean, this art form of sculptures and carving, that was with the intent of narrating age-old stories and carrying the history forward centuries ahead. That was probably one of the prime reasons. Ornamentation to temples is fine, but I'm sure these stories are to be carried forward.
Right.
So hats off to those artisans back then. For me as an artist, I mean, I just simply enjoy listening to those stories and capturing it in my own ways.
Right.
This is part of us. This is be it the music that you listen to, be it the places that you visit
Yeah.
since childhood. You always are habituated to visiting fantastic temples and so many other monuments.
Mm.
So, as an artist, these things fascinate me. These things inspire me a lot. I think one of the goals of art back then was to capture history, capture stories to be told later on.
Right.
And all these things becoming part of your daily life is probably what we call culture. These rituals, these monuments, these methodologies that we apply to our daily lives, that's something that we call as culture.
Right.
Although it's a multi-pronged answer. What culture is, the debate can go on, discussion can go on, but it's interesting that they are severely intertwined. I mean, they are kind of inseparable with each other, is what I believe. At least art in the traditional sense. There can be multiple interpretations, but for me, some things that I relate as, I mean, that's one of ways for me to learn history is to sketch, is to go to places, talk to people, capture those stories in my sketchbooks. So for me, art is to capture my own story, my own interpretation of the history, the monument, the place, the flavor of that place. So for me, that's the connection.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess continuing on the history, art, culture connect, I feel that knowing your own history, knowing your own roots is so important, especially with the way things are shaping up and everyone is looking towards West and other countries, which is great. I mean, we shouldn't close our eyes to those things.
Yeah.
My only feeling is we shouldn't close our hearts to what is our own.
Wow.
You keep looking at things, you keep getting inspired. I'm myself inspired. I'm thoroughly inspired by artists all across, be it impressionists to comic artists to illustrators. But at the same time, there's a deep desire that I wish to explore a bit more on what we are, or what we as Indians or Indian art forms have to contribute.
Right.
And it's so wonderful. I recall one of the earlier experiences when I shifted to Bangalore as a comic book artist. I could have traveled any place. I mean, there were many places to travel and go and resorts, but me and my friend, we took a tour to Halibut, Bellur, those temples.
Wow.
And they seem to be preserved in such a good condition even now.
Okay.
Just out of that, I mean, never consciously, but naturally gravitated towards temples is what I'm kind of trying to imply here. Although I wasn't an avid sketcher, so I missed sketching back then, which I wish to do soon again. But amazing. I mean, those Mahabharata and Ramayana carvings that are across the temple. I mean, you are in awe of those when you look at those. The level of dedication and devotion and craftsmanship that was in existence back then puts everything else to shame, including what we do today. But as I would like to say, it's like depressingly inspiring stuff. So it can inspire you to the peak, and it can depress you that, okay, what are we doing?
What are we doing? Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's a worthwhile question to ask. What are we doing? And worth to explore.
Wow. I mean, I think that is the question which every one of us should ask to ourselves, that what are we doing? I mean, we have received, we have got what they have given us. I mean, the whole centuries, the work which was done like centuries ago, there were like generations who worked on a particular temple. I mean, generations of a particular family or a community who worked on a particular temple. They created something. Now how can we carry forward that legacy?
Correct.
What can we do? What can we do with it? What can we do to preserve it at the least? I mean, what can we do to preserve that? I think that is a question which every one of us should ask to ourselves.
That's such an important question, because it's more important than ever to kind of take pride in your roots.
Yeah.
It's more important to know about it, learn about it, as much as we learn about other things.
Yeah.
Because this is who we are.
Yeah.
this is who we are, and this is what will take us forward.
Yeah.
Uh, Having said that, like example that you gave is of a temple that has been done by across generations.
Yeah.
So the sheer mindset amazes me, that some person starts the work and he won't even know when it will be completed.
When it
Maybe
will-
his fifth generation will be the last one
Yeah.
to put the last stone.
Yeah.
And still they did it.
Yeah. At least he knew that it is not going to get finished in his lifetime.
Absolutely.
What motivated them?
Yeah, and we are in different times where we want to see everything finished by evening. So yeah, I mean that comes from me as an artist. I'm a slightly impatient person myself. That's why I indulge more on watercolors and this. Even as professions, even as the things that we create, that is the call of the day. We want everything finished at the soonest, at the earliest. Different mindset.
Yeah.
No pinpointing that this is right or wrong, but just amazement towards the artisans who created such stuff.
Right. Perfect. So we have got this beautiful history. We have got a fantastic culture. We have got lovely heritage. What do you think that you or the artist community can do to enrich it even more?
Oh, so much. I mean, there's so much to do, and I think artist community can do so much to contribute. Artist, I would bring up, or I would wear my designer hat right now, because I feel as a designer I can impact much more larger audience.
Right.
So I would term them in a one bucket, which I believe I am, is an artist and a designer. We can do so much, be it talking about it, be it going and visiting all those places, capturing those things. Maybe in today's world, using social media, so many of them are doing. There are so many people who are doing fantastic stuff.
Right.
But so it's more of one individual trying to do his best. If we can generate a multitude of such individuals by inspiring even of one person, I mean, if one can inspire another two, I think it can be it's a cliche, but that's what I believe.
It would be a phenomenon.
Yeah, it would be phenomenal. We have all the means today to capture, tell our stories, and narrate those fantastic experiences that we go to.
Yeah.
So as an artist, I feel artist plus designer, let me rephrase, is we can do so much. Be it exhibition designs. There are so many people curating fantastic exhibits. Some of them are trying to curate and contribute to all the traditional artisans who are in remote places, curating stores and getting their art forms on a global stage. Some of them I know personally have been doing fantastic stuff in stones, metals, wood carvings, and so on and so forth. There are people who are trying to curate old things by kind of resurrecting old monuments and so on and so forth. So much can be done. I don't want to get too suggestive and preachy here, but we have immense power to do a lot of things, and we should do, even if it's a small bit.
Right. And probably the one last question: are we doing enough? Are we doing enough as an artist community in order to in order to narrate the tales of our history? Are we doing enough, or can we do a little more? What do you think?
So that's a tough question. Are we doing enough? Two parts to the answer. I mean, I'm thinking on two lines. One is, obviously, you always have to push for better. Maybe we're doing good, but better than yesterday, but we can always do better. We can always expand ourselves. I mean, if 10 people are getting interest and propagating our own roots, imagine 40 people doing it, 50 people doing it, with a youngest growing population in India. I guess that is the power we should harness. At the same time, there are so many fantastic people around, some sharing their experiences, some simplifying things via their books, some doing it through their paintings. So many friends of mine do that. Some curating old structures, heritage structures, and curating products around that. Some interacting with actual artisans and bringing their art and craft at a global stage.
Wow.
This is a question that we, as a co-founder of a studio, we always ask ourselves, even at the studio, what are we doing as artists and designers to bridge that gap? Obviously, we're not so strong or so big to create an entire bridge, but we can be that one small stone that contributes to that bridge. So we do it through our products, through a small product lineup called Kosh, where we try to tell stories of Indian ethos, Indian culture, be it festivals, be it flowers of India, be it rivers of India, be it some interesting upcoming music of India.
Right.
We have designed products, games, we have gamified some of those so that people kind of engage. Like I said, engagement factor is very important to take it forward, because all other media are grabbing the attention. So it's a fight with the engagement. So can we bring a certain engagement before we educate someone?
Right.
Or education along with engagement is somewhere we should probably work.
Right.
We aim to work at, and we've been doing our bits and pieces around that. Hopefully it will gather more and more momentum as we go by. You yourself are doing your part, right? I mean, you're trying to capture stories or capture stories of people who are trying to contribute in their own little ways through your H's for history. That's a great word, H's for history. That's a great initiative. So imagine more people doing like this. I think we will be in such a strong position then.
That was fantastic, Ashwin. I mean, it was, as I said before, I was so thrilled to have you on this program, and I'm so lucky and honored, and it was absolutely my pleasure to have you on this program. Thank you so very much for giving me some time to talk about it. I know we speak on multiple occasions in a different setup and about this topic, but in a different setup. But this was the first time probably we are spending time like this in this setup where the cameras are set up here and there. So thank you so very much for giving me a time, and I wish you luck. Thank you so much.
My pleasure always. So for the audiences, one of the key inspirations in people that I look up to is Manjeet himself. It's because of him that history has been dearer to me, and I mean, him being a fantastic narrator in history is kind of one of the reasons that I try to go deeper into it. Having said that, we've spent fantastic times sketching on location, sketching on famous forts around Pune, and doing some small little projects together, which I hope get only bigger by the day. And I wish Manjeet all the best ahead. It was a pleasure for me to ask myself some questions and talk about it.
Thank you so much. It was a fantastic time spent together. Thanks, Ashwin, one more time.
Thank you.